Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Okay.
Hi, friend.
Hi, Sanya.
Hello.
Hi.
My cat is behind the computer. He's walking there, so. And there's another one. They listen. They are when we have the workshop. They are very quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are used to it. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, our dogs. Some of our dogs got used to training, and then some of the dogs we had in the past when Dad, when I was younger, they just never quite got the idea that it's just practicing. And so they think that like Dad and a student would be attacking each other because they were attacking each other essentially with the martial stuff, but they didn't understand that. Hang on, they're just playing, which is strange because dogs play fight, so you'd think they'd understand that. But I guess maybe because the person he was training with is not someone who's there all the time, so to them like that's a stranger, and my master is fighting the stranger, so I've got to go and help him.
Yeah. It's nice. It's to have something here walking around. Yeah.
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 All right.
Your
Hey,
father
Mariana.
also mentioned that your dogs would react to him doing qigong sometimes too.
Yeah. 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 No, yeah, even it was like if he stood in a position, whatever qigong it was, and he stood there like thinking, what's happening now? So he's totally in a conscious state of mind. The dog would just be sitting there. Then he'd go vroom and zone out, go completely deadpan, into the zone. So he's gone into a subconscious state. And when you do that, it's like your character, your personality, that person that you know is no longer there. It's just purely running off the subconscious. And yeah, you could see the dogs just sitting there looking at Dad, and then they'd go, well, who's that? As if like he's a stranger. So it's really interesting to see how an animal quite often doesn't refer to looking to know if they know a person. They're much more basing it around the energy of that person. So if that energy completely changes, they start freaking out like, hang on, that's not Earl kind of thing. So, yeah. All right. Good group of people tonight. 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. 10 students tonight. Live. Lovely. Let's get into it, shall we?
Yep.
Okay. Just do a quick warm up because it's evening time. I'm sure you're all relatively warm. And plus, you don't really need to warm your body up much when you're just doing such gentle, simple movements like this. We are going to start the step today, though, because we're up to in the form, coming down, we're up to this movement. We're going to be beginning the step, so we will warm up our knees and ankles primarily, because that's where the most pressure is. It doesn't seem like much when you do this, but if you do it slightly incorrectly or put too much pressure and you're not warmed up and you're not used to it, it seems like a simple posture, but it's actually very, very difficult to take that step if you adhere to the correct motion and you don't just kind of go, oh yeah, just step. Well, no, I fell into it. Or just step, no, I stepped across. Or step, no, I turned to the front. No, you have to hold your waist this way, turn this way, turn this way. Don't put any weight down in the foot, blah, 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 which I'll explain later. So there is actually quite a lot of pressure on that leg. So let's just move the whole spine first. Let's just get you the general stuff. So sticking your bum out, looking up, chest up, elbows back, full spinal movement. Breathing out, curling up into a ball. Breathing in, opening everything out. Breathing out, curling up into a ball. In breath. Out breath. In breath. Out breath. Lower back, get all this area warmed up, glutes and lower back, so hinging forward. Either stay at 45 degrees and do the techniques from here, or if you're okay with it, you can come down to 90 degrees with your back straight and do it here. Relax your spine, let it hang down, and then just straighten it back up again, including your head. Relax it back down, straighten it back up. Relax it down, breathing out, straighten it up, breathing in. Make sure your glutes are engaged. So the first thing that happens is switch on here, squeeze your glutes. Before you even try to lift up, really think about your glutes. Glute squeeze, perineum squeezes. And then roll it up. And relax. Okay, ankles. Right, we'll start off just with our normal one of these. So just opening out to the sides. So we're warming up the ankles by standing up onto the toes. Right up, really max out your ankles, fully up. And then sink down. So we're getting a bit of arms and shoulders and that kind of stuff in there as well. But the focus here is on pressing the toes all the way up onto the demi points, of course, not onto the tippy toes. I mean, most people would call this your tippy toes, but it's not your tippy toes. It's just your hemi-tippy toes. Your demi-toes. Demi-toes? Yeah, that's what they call them, demi-points. Yeah, you stand on your demi-points. This is the healthy way to stand on your toes, of course. Nice and controlled on those toes. Don't just go, whoa, whoa, and drop back down. Nice and controlled, you see? Pushing up, 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 up. Breathing in, and then slowly pushing the body back down and into the heels. Same again. Slowly raising up. And slowly letting it down. One more time. Okay, coming to a lunge. I want you to sit into a lunging position like so, just however long is comfortable. Not super long or anything, just average kind of thing. What I want you to do is, I want you to have your weight back, so my weight's sort of, towards the rear leg. And then sink forward. See how my knee is going closer to my toe, right? As I move forward, of course, my knee is going further past my toe kind of thing. I want you to feel how far you can go. This is not just warming up. This is understanding your ankles, your joints, so that you don't hurt yourself when you're doing the stepping actions in your Taiji form, or any of your forms, Qigongs and so on. So you're pushing forward. Now I can feel the lower I sink, the more that knee bends. My ankle still feels loose, okay? If I keep going forward to a certain point, about there, that feels horrible. Because my ankle joint started to max out. That started putting excessive pressure on my knee joint, okay? Doesn't feel strong. It doesn't feel terrible because I'm only holding my own body weight. But what you should look at is your structure in your knees, in your whole body, should be so that you can hold another person on your shoulders. So if you're in a position, I know my structure because I chuck Fran up on top of my shoulders and go, okay, yep, that still feels good. Oh, that really doesn't feel good. So that position feels horrible, feels like way too much pressure in incorrect positions on the knee. Put her down because now there's hardly no weight on me. Well, yeah, now it's a little more hard to tell. I can tell now because I'm aware of my body, because I've done all that training. I've researched like which positions structure the knees properly. So it's a fantastic idea, not right at the beginning. Learn a little bit about your body first, but pick up something heavy, something that's manageable for your own, your own body weight. But pick up something heavy on your shoulders, or you could just pick up two things off the ground. It doesn't have to be up over your shoulders. 2 big water jugs or something. Just so you're adding a bit more load to that leg. And you'll find that as you move forward, you're keeping the weight in the heel, of course, not letting the weight go forward onto the toe, keeping the weight in the heel. As I sink forward, most people give the rule of don't let your knee go past your toe, but that doesn't really work for most people. It works for some people, not all people, because it all depends on the size of your foot. If you're really tall with really short feet, and you only go to the in line with the toe point, you're going to be up here. You're going to be way too high in your stance. So people who are super tall with short feet need to go a bit further. It has nothing to do with the line. It's just a rough guide to make sure no one hurts themselves. What you really have to look at is the ankle. So if my ankle, see, my ankle can freely move very nicely through this range that I'm currently moving. That's sunk down, but my ankle still feels very happy, okay? If I go maybe to there, that's just on my limit now. If I go a little bit further, see, I still feel like the ankle has a little bit of room left to go forward, meaning it's not maxed out. The joint is not maxed out in its movement. So if I use my elbow to explain, the ankle's kind of going to there. There's still that much more it can go. I don't want to put it in the locked position. It doesn't matter so much for this joint here, but for this joint down here, when you put it in an absolute maxed there, again, I can feel myself, but especially if I put weight on my shoulders, all this pressure comes straight into the front of my kneecap. It feels very insecure, okay? So now you can work on that flexibility in your ankle. I've got very flexible ankles. I think I'm at pretty much the maximum range that an ankle's supposed to go because I've been doing this stuff since I was a kid. But if, for example, you lose mobility here, when you're hardly forward at all, well, then you probably need to just work on your ankle mobility, okay? Stretching, loosening up the muscles, loosening up the joint, a whole bunch of things you can do to loosen up your ankle mobility. That's not what I'm covering here today. But what I want you to understand is don't ever sink past the point that your ankle is happy, okay? So I'm sinking forward. I still feel like, yep, that's good because there's still that much left to go. I could bend more, but that's now maxed out in the ankle. That doesn't feel happy anymore. So go find where your maxed out position is, come just an inch back from that, and then it should be quite happy in that position. So that's what we're going to be doing when we See, we've come forward, what we did last week, but now you see as we sink onto that leg to take our first step in the form, that's where you're going to be sinking maximum, really sink down onto that leg. So when I tell you sink as low as you can, sink down as much as you can, that means as much as you can whilst maintaining proper structure. It doesn't just mean as far as you can. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about there. Think about the ankle, like, okay, it's very happy there, my ankle's still happy, but if I go like there, oh no, it's straight away the ankle, right in here. Feels like it's pressed, the joint is like joint on joint, it's locked out. I don't want that sensation. Okay, let's just do a little bit more for the legs. So let's just switch to the other leg and try that same exercise on the other side, just to feel it on the reverse side. At the same time, we can be getting a bit of a stretch in the back leg and just warming the muscles up as well, so it's also a warm-up. So just sink back and sink forward. I think, yep, that's comfortable. I'm comfortable with that. It feels healthy in the ankle, in the knee. A little bit further. That, for me, this is not for you, you've got to listen to your own body. For me, that still feels good. A little bit further. That's still okay. A little bit further than that. Now it's not okay. Straight away, I can feel the change. See, another thing to think about, to look for, and this applies to a lot of different things. As I sink forward, I'm feeling more pressure build up in my thigh and in my knee. The pressure is building because there's more weight going onto that leg. So it's going more, different. It didn't go, well, it did go more as well. The pressure went more, but the pressure changed. Up until that point, it just got more of the same sensation, the same feeling of pressure on my joint and my thigh. But then I passed that certain point and the pressure went, ooh, it changed where the pressure was. It went this extreme pressure right in the front of the knee, a little bit more on the thigh, but extreme pressure across here. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more change, more weight. Yeah, la-di-da-di-da. Then you get to a certain point and you go, oh, that feels different. It's not just more pressure. It's incorrect pressure. Okay, let's have a look at the back leg. I want you to switch sides again and just stretch down into that calf muscle. Okay, with this one, it's actually a nice one to just lean on the wall, like so, and really stretch back. If you're on a slippery surface, your foot's going to slide a little bit, that's okay. So really push down into your ankle. So your weight is going to be on the ball of the foot for this exercise, like so. But I thought that was you. Fran made a funny noise. Oh no, it was the baby. Yeah, really push that ankle down into the ground, like so, until you can feel that stretch coming across the calf muscle, right? So bring that forward, bring your hip forward, and push your weight down through the ball of that rear foot, getting that opening up, loosening up those calf muscles. Because the calf muscle, of course, can also limit your mobility in the ankle. So really sink through it. Just a nice long hold in there. Still wriggling a little bit as I'm sitting, and if you're sliding back, you can just adjust a little bit each time. Switch sides, same thing. Lengthen in, stretch it down. Now, because the weight's in the ball of the foot, it doesn't matter that the knee's way past. I'm in a totally different structure now, and the pressure is going in a totally different angle because I'm not vertically over the leg. So the stuff I was saying before doesn't apply to this type of structure. Open that calf muscle out. Really feel it in there. Feel it in there. You'll realize why this is important when we start doing that, that next posture. So obviously straightening your knee, that's going to bring the stretch more into that calf as well. Okay, last one. Just grab your ankle, just put your foot up. Now we're not trying to stretch necessarily down through here. You can stretch a little bit down through there as well, but I want you to grab with both hands, like so. If you're having trouble balancing, you can put your head on the wall to balance. Well, because you've got to use both hands, don't you? So put your hand on the wall, or your head on the wall rather. Okay, and pull that foot up, stretching as strongly as you can across here, just pulling that foot in. You can get a bit more pressure, you can pull it back, you see, like so, stretching the quadriceps a little bit, but then you can pull it forward and you'll push more pressure on your ankle, you see. So both positions are nice. If you pull it back like this, you're getting more through the quads. If you pull it down like so, you're pushing down through the ankle a little bit more. Again, just getting that ankle freed up for what we're going to do. Other side, just softly put your weight down on that. Get used to it again because you've been in a sharp position for a while. Other leg, pick it up and pull it up. Stretching it open. Drop your knee forward to push more pressure down on your ankle. And again, loosen it real gently, give it a wriggle out, then put it down on the ground. Okay, let's go into our Taiji form now. We'll just do a little bit of repetition of what we've already done. And then we'll get into the new movements. Okay, we're just going to drill it a few times. Mirror me. In breath, out breath. In breath. Sink that hand down, very gently bending the knees, and then push the weight across to there. Boom. As I said before, we're about 70% forward here. Little tip about where you should be here. I should be so that I can go whoom, and pick up that foot pretty, not instantly. It's not like I'm 100% and I can pick it straight up, but I shouldn't be here where I feel like I've got to shift, then pick up. I'm far enough forward that it feels like I can just roll the foot kind of in one motion. So that's about 70 to 80%. Let's go the other way. Again, the other side. One more. Okay, we'll just do it one more time each side, broken down though, just to remind you of a couple of important principles. And then we'll drill it one more time, and then we'll get into the new movement. Okay, so opening move. I'm just not going to tell you every element of it like I've already done. I'm just going to cover the things which most commonly people get wrong. So it's a high chance you'd be making this mistake. It's generally speaking, when learning Taiji, the majority of people tend to make the same mistakes. Okay, so opening move. Make sure your palms are parallel to the floor. Make sure that they are moving gradually up. So the palms are staying parallel to the floor, therefore they are changing state from yang to yin all the way up and all the way back down again. Second move, take your hands over to the side, then start lifting them up, and same principle, get the wrists to be changing to yin gradually. When I take them across, they still go a little bit higher, so there's a nice up and over circular feel. The left hand goes yang, the right hand, the hand in front of me, goes a little bit more yin. When I drop my left hand, I very slightly sink in that same side. The hand very slightly upwardly rotates like it's going this way, just ever so slightly. Then when I push the weight across into my right foot, I turn the center and all components, boom, reach their apex at the same time. Let's do it one more time, each side, with those things in mind. So I'll still repeat those things, but I'm not going to stop this time. We're going to flow through, but I'll just call them out as well. So beginning movement. Keep your palms parallel as you breathe in. Again, gradual movement as you breathe out. Swing them over to the side. Lift them up, changing yin. Take them up and over. The one hand goes yang to the side, the other hand goes further yin to the front. Take the hand down, keep that outer hand yang, and then sink down over the front foot as I turn the foot out and settle. Let's do the same thing, the reverse side. Okay, so that's the end of the posture. So I'm not fully sunk down yet. 70% forward, still kind of a little bit upright, but now I'm going to sink. Really, that's when we go to our sink as low as you can, what we were talking about earlier. Okay, so in our usual style, let's just do it a few times as best you can, purely from visually looking at the movements. I might just call out, step forward, lift your left hand, a couple of simple things, but ultimately you're just visually learning for a few rounds. We'll just do two rounds each side of that new movement. Then we'll go into some details. I'll break it down for you and then we'll drill it again. So let's just go from here, just to save a bit of time. Otherwise we'll never get through to the new movement if we keep repeating from the start. Obviously, as we go through the form, we're going to have to stop repeating from the start, because once we're 20 movements into the form, you start from the beginning again, it takes you 10 minutes to get to the new move. So even now, we're just going to start from here. So take it down. Mirror me. step forward, sinking into that standing leg, and then sink into the front leg, turning towards the front, lifting one hand up in front of you, kind of like you're hugging a tree, and the other hand is just down to the side of you, like so. So again, that's the amount of detail I'm going to give right now as we just flow through. Let's do it again the same side. Breathing out. Breathing in as we step. And breathing out as we come forward. One more time, then we'll do it on the opposite side. Let's try the other way around. So from here, sinking it down, turning the foot out, taking it across, step forward, sink forward, and again, like you're hugging something. I'll go more into that detail later. And hand down to the side. I was going to say, I've always said it's kind of like you're hugging. Everyone says like you're hugging a tree, but actually it's the wrong intent, because the intent should be going out. It's the same strike. We did the back fist in the small sansao this week, didn't we? Yeah, it's the same technique as the small sansao, only it's more subtle. It's done as a qigong now. We're not doing it. We're not projecting it like a proper strike. But yeah, when you come into that, the intent is like you're going through something, not like you're hugging into something. So hugging is really not the best way to describe it. More like you're protecting, like you're putting up a shield. That's a better way to describe it. Take it down. Put up your shield. That really works, actually. I like that analogy. As soon as I said that in my mind, put up a shield, gives me the right structure. Obviously, when I do it myself, I do it at a more advanced level where there's this little shake on the end, indicating that nice back fist, like in the small sansao, that explosive movement. But it's too difficult to understand that in the beginning. If you try to go, oh, I've got to go forward, then I've got to open the hips the other way, and then the hand's got to go yang, and then the left hand's got to go yin, and then I've got to circle it back, and then go here. There's 20 different things you've got to do to make that happen. So you don't make it happen. You punch something, boom, you start hitting a bag, you learn how to hit. Then when you come back to your form, you're like, oh, okay, bah. All that stuff that happens, you learn it from punching stuff. You don't learn it by going, what each bit of my body has to do. You can't learn like that. You've got to learn by having some kind of feedback. You've got to have a reason to do the movement. If I put a mitt there, I've done this so many times with the health Tai Chi people, where they don't practice anything to do with the fighting side of things. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a fighter to get the good principles and good structure of Taiji, but you just got to at least kind of understand the strikes, at least, the structure of the martial. So people were sort of doing this movement where you come through here and just throw a punch. Boom, simple. It's just a simple little block and a punch. Anyone who's ever thrown a punch before, just throw a punch. It's that simple. But then you get these people who have never thrown a punch in their lives, but they've been training Taiji for 20 years, And they're sort of going, the hand's sort of swinging around all over the place. So where's the projection of that power? Over and over again, trying to explain it. And then I say, okay, punch me. And they go, what, just hit you? Boom. Yeah, do that. As soon as they have a target, boom. Okay. Boom. Oh, is that what I got to do? Right. Boom. So 3 hours of explanation can be taught by simply giving them a reason why you should be doing that technique. Let's do it again. So for now, even though it is technically a back fist strike, when we do this technique, it's too complicated. So there's another application which we can have, which kind of makes it a little simpler. And that is, yeah, like you just keep back, just holding someone back. I don't know, just off the top of my head, someone's in here. Well, actually, if you do it, you're in a position like you're down there. Where are you? Like that. Bang, bang, bang. She's in here, something like this. I don't know. Maybe she's taken that block. Maybe I'm trying to like grab her or something. And she's just basically just sticking her tongue in my neck and keeping me away. This kind of thing, you see? Just going, fuck, just get off me, get off me. Just keeping that strong structure up there. Maybe it's not a life or death situation. Maybe it's some drunk in the pub going, hey, nice tits, darling, give me a fucking, you know, and you just go, yeah, you're just going to keep like, come on, let me have it. That kind of thing. You don't worry, she's my wife if anyone's watching on YouTube. Yeah, you don't want to smash him in the throat, elbow and rip his eyes out. He's just a drunk. You just keep him at bay until one of your mates comes and goes, come on, dude, come and have a sit over here. He's not dangerous. He's just drunk, you know. Not to say he should be doing it. He does, you know, he should be punished in some way, but he doesn't deserve an elbow in the throat for it. So your Taiji postures don't always have to represent kill tactics, as some people will describe them. They can. This can be a kill tactic, or it can just be a get off me tactic. Just stay over there, keep away from me. And it helps you to understand the movement. So yeah, here's the movement here. Oh, maybe she's tried to grab me there and I've just gone, oh, just get off me. And then maybe that hand's come around here, just like, you know, maybe you're grabbing my shirt or something. And I'm just kind of doing that, you see? Obviously, I'm assuming she'd be a bigger person than me or something, but that's the idea. You're trying to push into me. You see, and I'm just like, just get off. That's the idea. So it's just a good solid pung structure, but it's a forward intent. That's why I was saying it's not a hugging intent. You see, it's a stay back over there intent, pushing into her center, and then if push comes to shove, boom, then you can elbow her in the throat and do other things if need be. But your first line of defense in that situation is to not escalate the situation. See, so just holding up that shield. The other hand is sort of doing a similar thing. It's just kind of like protecting, just controlling. It's not doing something violent. It's just maybe she's just trying to grab me down here or something. So I'm just kind of this kind of thing. Just pushing down and in, trying to destabilize her. Exactly where you would push would totally depend on where her structure is. So in the form, you just kind of come into a nice rounded shape, right? But depending on where she's standing, I might, okay, let's say I push here, just hold your ground a little bit, like that. Let's say I push here, see I'm pushing straight into her structure at that angle. Whereas if I push here, see, look, I'm not using any force, but she can't hold her balance. Now put your other foot forward, same positioning, but her other foot's forward. Now if I push in that same position I was pushing before, she falls over. So where you push totally depends, of course, on where her feet are placed and where her intent is in the movement. The other thing that it depends upon is where she's pushing. Even if you've got that foot forward, so I could technically push you that way where I was pushing, but let's say you're leaning on me this way, pushing it now, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, I can push Fran over, but again, assuming she's bigger than me, I wouldn't want to push that way. I'd want to go, oh, okay, you see, pull her over that way, let her go past, you see, because I'm going with the flow. So those are the analogies as to how this move can work. So take it down. Now here, shield. This palm is on my center. This palm is down to the side. Notice it's forward and down to the side. It's not never, ever pulling backwards. Everyone does this strike and they come like this for some reason. They pull the hand back. It's not a backward movement. It's a downward movement. The hands are actually more or less the same distance forward. Maybe the front hand's just a smidgen more forward, but yeah, more or less around the same sort of level. Okay, let's have a look at this step, because that's the most tricky part about this posture. You take it down, let's just come to here. Okay, the very first thing is the weighting. Forget about the hands for a moment. When I push my weight over to my other leg, I push that weight there from the heel of my other leg. So this foot is pushing through the heel. My heel is the thing where the weight is going down. Okay, so feel your weight push across from your heel till you get to that point, that sort of 70-ish, 80, 70 to 80-ish mark forward. What I want to do now is I want to start rolling the foot up, because I should start stepping. So that's what I was saying before. If I haven't got enough forward, let's say I've gone to 50-50 in this position. If I start lifting the heel now, rolling the foot, that feels really awkward because there's so much weight on that back leg. So it should feel like you're far enough forward that now I just go, you see? So I push myself to 70% forward from the heel, but then the last bit to get to 100% so I can lift up my foot, I push from the ball of the foot. You see, it's the ball of that rear foot now, which is going to push my weight forward. As that happens, my body turns slightly towards the front. So I'm turned out to the corner here, of course, pushing from the rear heel, press through the ball of the foot, turning to the front, and sink, 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 till just the tip of your toe is touching the ground. Then all I want you to do for now is just roll the foot forward and let the heel drop on the floor. Boom. Just get my feet in frame a bit better there. So lift it up as you turn to the front and sink as low as what's comfortable for you, what we talked about before, not feeling excessive pressure on the knee. Once you're fully balanced, just let your foot extend forward, flex the toe up, so bend it up like this, a yang foot, and then just let the heel drop down naturally where it wants to drop to and sink forward. Now that's not exactly how we do it in the form, but that's the first step. We're going to alternate legs and practice this so you don't get really, really tired in one leg as you're doing it. So let's try the other leg. Sink down. We'll just do a bit of repetition. Sunk. Sink further. Roll the heel up till just the very tip of that big toe is touching the ground. I've turned to the front. Now, literally, just move the leg. Stay still. Flex the foot out. Drop the heel. Boom. Then you can relax the weight into your front foot. Try the other side again. Take it across. As you're stepping, most importantly, if I face that way, it should work. So, like your Qigong, vertical spine, straight vertical spine, pelvis tucked under, all of that stuff that you know from your Qigong training. So this chin tucked in, lifting from the head, your body should be as vertical and upright as possible. The spine, rather, obviously my knees are sinking down, but the spine is totally straight and upright, meaning this is still a straight spine, but I'm leaning forward or any other direction. I want to be vertical and straight in my position. So be very careful when you start to roll the foot up to not lean over. See, I'm leaning over to one side to kind of counterbalance the thigh from stepping out. Don't do that. Sink more to maintain your balance. You've got to get your center of gravity over that leg by sinking further. When you lift your leg up, the tendency is going to be to stick your bum out like this, okay? When you lift a leg, you've got to engage the core. You've got to lift up from here. So your bum should squeeze under as you lift the leg up. And hold it there. When I drop the foot, hold the squeeze here and just drop the thigh, you see? Don't go like that. See, I've released the core and stuck my bum out when I dropped my foot. So this all tucks under. I mean, it's already tucked, but it gives a little extra squeeze as I roll it up. But then the foot just places down, but keep it tucked under. Then you just relax a little into your front leg. So let's try that again. Sink forward. Sink forward more as you turn to the front and roll the foot up. Now just find your balance first, then let your foot reach forward and drop the heel. Then let your weight come into that front foot. Try it the other side. Sink. Push from the toe and sink further as you turn to the front. Up. Find your balance. Lift the toe. Stretch the foot out. Flex the foot out. Drop the heel, keeping your pelvis engaged. This here, core, under. Then release it. Down. Make sure your standing knee is always in line with your toe. So if I do it this way, see this? Knees curved in, don't do that, you'll hurt your knees. Open your knee. So when your hips open, you have to open your hip. Don't turn your pelvis without opening your hip, because then the knee's caving in. So open your hip so the knee stays in line with the toe, and we get a nice opening in here. So you've got to engage the muscles in the back here to stop that sagging in and pull that knee open, okay? The stepping in your Taiji is so important. We should spend a lot of time just doing stepping exercises like this before even trying to put in all the framework. As I say, I've already given you sort of this is where we're going to, this is what our goal is towards the end, but we need to focus purely on the steps. Your feet should feel like your palms. So even at the beginning, most people, unless you're extremely disconnected from your body, most people can get this feeling of, oh, that's nice, yeah, nice flow in the palms, softness, gentleness, gracefulness. But can you see how my feet are doing the same thing? My feet are moving around, gently going yin, going yang, moving forward. The feet feel exactly the same as the hands. It's a little more difficult for them to feel like this because there's more pressure on them. Well, there's pressure on them, period. There's no pressure on my hands at this stage. Of course, when the foot's off the ground, there's no pressure on it. So that's when it should really feel like the palms when you're moving. So the feet should be moving just as smoothly and gracefully as your palms when we're taking these steps. But even the static leg, it should still have good stability, so it still has that feeling, although it will feel different, of course, because there's more weight. Well, your body weight's down in this, so it's going to feel in the beginning like it's a bit, oh, geez, there's a lot of pressure here. But at least in the first stages of your training, at least get your empty leg to feel this sense of movement. See, the foot's doing this. I'll show you my hand in close-up just so I can show you, because it's a bit hard to see the foot. It's rolling, curling under, you see? It's moving like that, like a wave. It's not just clunking forward. I'll try to show you that now, just from the side. I'll just do it here. So watch my left leg here. See, it's... that kind of thing. Notice when I touch it down, there's absolutely nothing going into that leg. I'm just feeling the ground. I can feel the ground with my heel, but there's absolutely no commitment to it. Until I go, yep, okay, that's a safe spot. Now I'll put my weight down onto it. You never want to get this this plonky feeling into your legs. Let's try it again. Sink to one side, breathing out. Breathing in to lift your hand up, turning to the front, and just place the foot down. Again, zero commitment to that foot. And then just relax into your front leg, just to come out of it, essentially. We're not doing the next movement yet. Other side, sink. Oh, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that last time. Really make sure when you're doing any swivel, any pivot on a foot, particularly if you're pivoting on the heel, as we are here, really make sure that you do lift your heel, lift your toe, lift the ball of your foot, the whole front part of your foot, off the ground, and then put it back. If it's dragging, if you can hear, I don't know if you can hear that, I'll be quiet for a second. There's that friction sound. If you can hear that, if you feel any pressure on the foot, you're putting pressure on the knee, and that's where you can hurt your knee. So lift the ball of the foot off the ground, so you're pivoting on a nice little tip, the little end of your heel there, nice little round spot, so when you turn, there's zero pressure on your knee joints, no pressure whatsoever. Of course, you should not be doing your Taiji in a pair of Nike running shoes out there on the tarmac. No part of that shoe, no matter how good your balance is, it's not going to turn. So you're going to be putting pressure. They're designed to stick to the floor. So make sure you're wearing the correct footwear. YouTube video coming soon on Taiji footwear. What are we doing here? Okay, so sink, pushing from the heel. Roll it forward. Just do whatever you want with the hands for now, just sort of help you keep your balance. Sink, tuck, extend, and let your foot drop. And then relax it forward. You'll notice, if I do it this way, watch how the foot comes back. I sink, I tuck, I lift, I extend, but watch what happens to the foot when it drops. See how it comes back a little ways? It's not because I'm pulling it back, it's just the natural angle. The hip, when it's lower, it's got less reach to it. So if I extend it really far out, look, I can touch the wall there, but when I bring it down to here, it's like 2 feet away from the wall. So even if you're at that high off the ground, there's this little kind of action of your foot coming slightly back, okay? If you don't do that, if you reach forward and then your brain says, I've got to put the foot down there, where my foot is, the point under my heel, you'll fall into it every time. So you've got to allow your foot to drop backwards. Let it come back. But that does not mean letting your knee bend or your ankle bend or anything else to shorten your stance. What we're trying to get here is a nice long stance, so when we come into these postures, we've got a good stance and we're not just sort of standing here like this, you see? Okay, let's try it again. Sink. Tuck, lift the heel. Sink again. Pause here. Have you got your balance? Are your hips nice and level? This hip will be just a fraction higher, but more or less level. We shouldn't be like, over here like this. Anytime you lift a leg, that hip will be just a fraction higher than the other leg, but more or less visually they're pretty flat. Roll the foot out. Place the heel. Nothing on it. Other side. Sink. Tuck. Lift the heel. Turning to the front. Let the foot just pendulum forward. Flex the toes up. Really stretch it out like you're stretching your calf muscle. And then just little drop on the end. Then of course that whole front leg just gives in to the bend. It just sinks down and goes the opposite way. Other side. Sink. As I say, I have not given you the full posture yet. I haven't told you what to do with the waist yet. I've just told you to turn to the front. We're just focusing on the balance and the precision of the stepping. So those of you who know the form, you're like, oh, but hang on, aren't you supposed to turn back the other way or something like that? Yes, you are. Next week. Get this right, get this. You got to be as precise as a ballerina when you move forward into that posture, when you step forward into that posture. Okay, let's try the whole sequence now. We're going to do the whole hand movements, but when we get to the end, we're just going to leave your hands in that shape they got to and do the step just like we've been doing. We're not going to do the full posture anymore. We're just going to sink, 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 touch the heel. See, I can't do the next movement from here because I'm already facing the front, you see, so I don't get any twist, I don't get any turn from the center. So doing the step the way I'm doing does not fit the form for the posture coming next. But it's a great interim step because the next way of doing it is much, much more difficult. So I want you to practice this step all week. Really make sure you do it at least just 5 or 10 minutes every day. Really work the muscles, get that gracefulness, that calmness and strength built up in your legs. So next week it won't be such a struggle when I tell you that you have actually got to pull your hips back the other way as you extend your leg out. Okay, let's try it. In fact, I might finish up with facing the same way as you, just for a couple of rounds. Here we go. From the beginning, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, sinking, 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 tucking, keep your knee over your toe, let your foot pendulum forward, and place the heel. Then just relax as you come into the front leg. Don't even try to do the posture from there because you'll learn the wrong stuff. You'll be learning bad technique if you try to go into pung from that position. Let's try it the reverse side. Sink, tuck onto the toe and hold like a statue. Let the foot go forward and drop the heel. Then relax it forward. All right, that's the end of that class. So like I said, really work on, even those of you who have been practicing for a while, I want you to really, really focus on those stepping methods. Because it's the feet. It's rare that I see good feet in Taiji. I see good hands all the time. People have nice hands. But when I see good feet, I'm like, you got good feet. Well done. It's much rarer because people tend to forget about their feet. They just kind of clunk about on them. And that's partly because of stupid modern day shoes, which again, I'm going to do a whole video about footwear and the huge importance of wearing the correct footwear, not just when you're doing your Taiji, but in a nutshell, don't ever wear normal shoes, ever. Throw them all in the bin. They are ruining your body. Video coming soon. Stay tuned. Yeah, so I'm a big advocate for feet. Any questions?
Yes. From my angle, it looks like when you are not dropping, but just gently with a very beautiful foot, place your foot on the ground, that you are not with the hips and everything parallel to the front, but that you are a bit slightly to one side. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
When you do the form properly, like I've said, as you step, I just said sort of turn to the front.
Yeah.
Generally, not, don't turn exactly to the front or anything like that. Just kind of turn towards the front. When we do the full posture, well, if you noticed, I don't know if you noticed that, but if you have a look at the video, when I was just doing it at the beginning, when we're flowing through, you'll notice that when I reach the foot forward, when I roll the foot up to the toe, I turn to the front. But actually next week, when we stretch out and place down, we're actually going to open the center back the other way.
Okay.
So it's much more difficult. That's why I just want to get that flow and that feeling in the foot first. But yeah, so obviously when I'm doing it myself, there's probably just that little bit of like my body's used to going the correct way, so that you're noticing that little bit of a slight turn back the other way, which in the end will be a proper active opening of the center. Because as I said there, if we do that, turn to the front, step, I can't do pung because there's no waist movement. So I've actually got to go lift the foot up, stretch the leg out, and now I'm loaded to come into that next move with my waist. So yeah, what you've noticed is correct. Anyone else? No? Made sense?
It was a good class.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul.
Very
What about
good.
you, Fran? Have you got any questions? You're a student too here. I don't charge her too much, though. Does that all make sense? Yeah? Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I'm going to just do a bit of a cool down, bit of a stretch, bit of a relax kind of thing like we did on Tuesday night. So if anyone wants to hang around for that, you're more than welcome. I'll talk you through a few little things, very simple, sitting on the floor, just stretching and moving our body just to really zone out and go and curl up into bed and go to sleep. Right. Let's, you'll try and do something, will you? With your dodgy knee. Fran's got a dodgy knee at the moment, so that's why she was sitting out of some of those sections.
Good night.
What am I trying to do? I'm in a daze. Oh, that one. I've got to bring my screen up. I'm a bit sleepy. 5 hours of sleep last night. Lots of teaching and working today. So I'm looking forward to this session. This has been my most looked forward to session of the day. Almost as much looked forward to as all the boots that I just had come in the mail. Okay, let's chill out. Sitting down. Are you sitting comfortably? Then let's begin. So just good posture, standing upright, sitting upright, rather. Pardon me. Just relax, but with a straight spine. Circle your spine, out to the side, forward, out to the other side, and then hollow your body out. See, I'm leaning, I'm sinking back, hollowing out the chest as far as I can without falling over, of course. So my chest is doing circles, you see? Just relaxing my hands wherever they feel like they want to be. So I'm getting the whole spine moving. Everything in the spine is moving. Go back the other way. And come back to neutral. Breathe in, link your fingers. Breathe out, push your palms out in front of you, and again, hollow out your chest. Reaching as far forward as you can. Then let your fingers detach. Straighten up your spine and lean forward, lifting your palms up as high as you can. And then straightening your body up and just letting your hands come down. Do the same thing again, link your fingers, but this time, as you breathe in, you're going to reach up with your body. Stretching up, but your chest is up, your head is up over your head. Release your fingers and just let them slowly sink down. Go back to the first one again, link your fingers. Hollow out your chest, round your spine. Straighten your spine, lean forward, lift your palms up. And then straighten your body up and let them come down. One more over the head, link your fingers. Curl up into a ball a little bit this time as you link your fingers. So you round your body on the linking. And then open your body out. Breathing in, opening up. And relax down. Let's go into this nice little stretch. So, front leg at 90 degrees, roughly. So this knee joint is at 90 degrees. Just sitting on the floor, rear leg just wherever it feels comfortable. And all you're going to do is use this hand to the side just to support your body. The other hand, just put it on your heel, sort of on your heel, but on the floor as well, like just under the heel. So again, you're using that hand to support your body, but also stopping your heel from sliding around as you go into the stretch. And then just as best you can, lean your body down, thinking about touching your chest on your knee, not your head, but your chest. And then when you get to the point where you're like, ooh, that's tight, just sweep that movement over towards your foot and then come up. So it's a circular action. You breathe in. Much big, open up your thoracic and then sink down as low as you can. Push your weight over to your foot. And then breathe in again. And again, breathing out. Using your hands to push your torso around. In breath. Out breath. In breath. Out breath. In breath, but this time you're going to reverse the circle, so go down towards your foot. Brush your body along the bottom and over to your knee, and then up the other side. So trying to get as much motion as you can from your body. Not just the stretch in the leg, but the opening up of your chest, opening up of your body, and then breathe it out. So it's still a really nice full body kind of thing. Okay, let your leg come in now. Pull that line in closer to your body. And I want you to just, here, grab your shin, pull it in, like so. Most people should be okay with that. That's very simple. Then, if you can do that, grab your foot instead. So grab this part of your foot, just the top of your foot. Pull it in, much the same as we were doing earlier, standing up, pulling your foot towards your bum kind of thing. But you're not going to be getting, well, you might be, depending on your level of flexibility, but most people are going to be pretty comfortable sitting here. So what you want to do now is push your knee to the rear, right? Just sweep it, push it out to the rear as what's comfortable for you. Lean over to get it out there. So if I sit here, it's kind of can't quite get it back, but I'm going to lean over this way to get that knee out to the rear. Right? So as far back as you can. Once it's there, hold it there. And then if you're getting a really good stretch here, that's your limit. Just stay there. Just wriggle around and hold that position. If you want more, push your hips forward. See? I'm actually going to push my hips, sliding my hips forward. So I'm lengthening through here whilst holding onto that foot. And again, if you're getting a really, oh, this is a big, strong stretch, just stay there. But if you want more again, fold your body over. So I'm rolling over that leg in front of me now, rolling it over. Maybe take this hand to the front now to support you. And again, just holding onto that foot. You might now want to hold it from the other side. I personally find it a bit more comfortable now rather than this side. It's up to you really, it doesn't matter, but I prefer holding it on the big toe side of my foot. It also nicely opens up your chest, so that's a good thing as well. Now, if you're already, again, if you're feeling a nice stretch, great. If not, start to straighten your body up to stretch from here and from there, so you're coming into a really big, full quad stretch. So that's a really nice progression there. You find the one that works for you, and hold that one and wriggle around in that position, lengthening and opening up and relaxing your body. If you can get into the full position, then great. But if not, you'll get there one day. You're also still getting a nice stretch through the hamstring and glute of that front leg as well, once you get into the full position. Okay, let's do the whole sequence of movements now on the reverse side. Okay, like so. So again, don't forget that nice big open, lift, really bring it in like a big, big breath. And then down towards the knee. Start off easy, not too low, just a light, gentle one because you haven't done this leg yet. And then breathe in. Maybe a little lower this time. Breathe in. Breathe out. In breath. Out breath. In breath. Out breath. See, even this movement, it's fluent and smooth, like your Taiji form. It's a Qigong. Everything we do is smooth. Go back the other way now, down to the foot. Try and get your head to touch your toes. Then drag your chest across your knee, and then lift up the other side. But remember, don't hunch your back, don't round your back down in order to get your head lower. Bring your back down in a flat position. Take it across, and bring it back up. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. Grab that rear foot, pull it in from the shin, from the foot. See if you can grab it. Push your knee back as far as this. Oh, sorry. Bring this foot in first, that makes it a bit easier. Bring that back. If you're okay there, push your hips forward a bit. You should feel a bit more stretch in here by pushing your hips forward. And if you're still feeling like, I want a bit more, I need a bit more, rotate your palm around to the other side and stretch out into your chest and roll over a little bit. Bring this palm to the front to stabilize yourself. Okay, so pull that in. And then if you want more again, just push your body up. So now you're stretching that whole front of the leg from both ends. The knees bent as far as it can go, the hips bent as far as it can go, so that the muscle is in the longest position that it can be in. And relax out. Okay, we'll just do a quick couple for the hamstrings, because that's where most people, including myself, tend to be the most tight. It's really my only tight muscle, actually. It's the only muscle in my body which I would regard myself as not satisfied with. Everything else I feel very good mobility, everything's very, very nice. My hamstring flexibility needs work. So that'll be my goal for the year, to get more flexible. I've done it a few times in the past where I've gotten flexible and then I've left it and not stretched enough and, lost it again. So let's just do the simple one. Just put one leg facing the front, one leg out towards the corner, the other leg just sitting here in front of you. If you're sitting here like this, hunching backwards, then put your palms behind you and push your body forward. You might be already feeling a nice stretch there. If you're not, then push your body more forward, and then bring this palm to this, bring this hand to here or to the shin, whatever you can reach, and then pull down into that leg. Now this one's not like a big moving thing like that other one we were going down to the knee across to the foot. We're not moving our body with this one. But I am still moving, you see, doing this little wriggling movements. A nice one you can do is hold onto your toes like this while they're pulled back, and then circle your foot. So I'm going to take my toes sort of out to my left, push them forward, then out to my right, and back to where they are. So my foot is literally doing a circle like that. But because I'm holding on to it, when I push my foot forward, it pulls, you see, it pulls my body forward, okay, and into the stretch. So I get this nice rocking action. Again, breathing with it, in breath, breathing into the movement, in breath, out breath. I'm also pushing a bit from here to help with the movement. Bend the knee a little bit and continue doing the same thing. You'll find you need to lean further down into it to get the same stretch when the knee's bent, but you'll get a different stretch to a different area of the muscle. And then just sink with the knee bent, just a little bit, not much, maybe, I don't know, 5 inches off the ground or something. And just sink into it. So you're really getting into the belly of the muscle rather than up here at the tendons in the knee. By keeping the knee bent a little bit, you're getting much more into the muscle part rather than the tendons. Relax that out. Slowly bring your foot in. Take the other leg out. Same thing, use your hands behind you if you need to bring yourself forward into an upright position. If you want, if you can get into that upright position, bring this hand to here. Grab your toes, sink down into it. And breathe a little. So another way of thinking about it, rather than thinking about just rolling the toe, another way you can think about it is take your head, not to the floor, or you can if you're that flexible, but I'm taking my head sort of here, not towards this knee, but sort of in the middle, like just here in front of me. So I take my head down towards that direction, then over towards this knee, and then up. Breathing. Breathing in. I'm still doing that circling with the foot that I was doing, but well, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm not doing anything different than I did on the other side. It's just that I'm thinking about it in a different way. Instead of just circling the foot and following the foot, you might find it more easy to get the movement if you think, yeah, drop your head down to the middle, over towards your knee. When you get there, you come back up and breathe in. Bend the knee just a fraction, keep going. In the bent knee position, I prefer not to circle the foot, actually. You can still do that if you want, but I find it just doesn't flow quite as nice. I prefer to leave the foot, I mean, maybe it's still circling a little bit, but it's not like a big focus on the circle. I'm focusing more now into the belly of the hamstring, moving my body around it. And then the last one, just sink into it. Stay down, stay low. Again, not rounding the back. I'm still keeping my chest, you see, this way and pulling down. So I'm keeping a nice strong structure in my spine rather than just leaning over like this. So if you can only go to here with a straight back, just go to there. Doing this isn't stretching your hamstrings anymore. Doing this is stretching your hamstrings more. Come out of that one. Shake your legs. Place your palms behind you, so the fingers are facing to the rear. Why don't I face this way? Fingers facing to the rear. And then just slide your bum away from your hands and push your chest up. So lift your chest up. Stretching your shoulders back. I'm glad you loved it. Oh no, I haven't got any water left. There's a drop. Everyone feeling like I'm feeling?
Sleepy.
Everyone looks like you feel like I feel. I love doing those sort of sessions at the end of the day. It's so nice. Especially out on the front porch, overlooking the ocean in Malta when we're at camp. We just lie out there in the late afternoon sun, the cool sea breeze blowing. It's such a nice camp. Well, I've got another 5:30 start in the morning, so I'm going to go to bed. Cool. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. As usual, if you've got any questions about what we did today, think about them and ask next week as soon as we start the class. I keep forgetting to ask questions at the start, but don't wait for me to say, do you have any questions? If you have a question, I mean, not while I'm teaching because that'd be too interruptive, but at the beginning and at the end, just ask your questions if you've got them.
Okay.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.